My goal is to kayak down a 14,000 foot mountain. This is probably a terrible idea, and to my knowledge, has never been done. But after tearing my ACL and missing yet another ski season, I had no other choice. What was I supposed to do? Just train for the summer all winter? Well, I tried that. Didn't seem very productive, but after a complete failure on my first attempt at St. Mary's Glacier, today I'm gonna rebuild this thing from the ground up and take it on one of the most fun and challenging adventures of my life. So first, I need to break down why it failed. The skis were functionally useless that high up, and once I did get to an edge, they almost ripped off the side. Even though I'm always looking to make a quick buck, I can't afford to have a yard sale. But you know, that's just part of the risk of doing this in the backcountry. If I crash, there ain't gonna be some strapping young lad on a snowmobile to cradle my fragile little body down. So it's back to the drawing board. Now I got two main options with putting the skis on the bottom. I can do a narrow set right down the middle where I stack the skis next to each other. Now the advantage of this is that it will be really easy to get from one edge to the other. However, this narrow base is gonna make it pretty unstable. Now the other option is to set the skis out wider towards the edge of the kayak. And of course, this will provide much more stability, but it's gonna take way more effort to get from one edge to the other. But for some unknown reason, I like the option on the left. It pleases me. If you're not too familiar with skiing, you may think it's avalanches that kill the most people. Wrong. But really, it's skiers hitting trees in resorts. So I'll make sure I plan to avoid the avalanches. But it's critical that I can have some control with this thing, similar to the paraplegic skier, so I don't become one. And to achieve this, I need to add some spacers between my skis and the kayak. So I repurposed the bar from the old design. It might be because I'm cheap, but there's not much I won't reuse. Ugh. Babe, did you wash the toilet paper? Oh well. As you've probably figured out by now, I'm really not good at building things. So to attach these skis to the bottom, I'm essentially gonna glue them. So I ran a quick test, and thankfully it held on tighter than Trump's hairpiece. Or at least good enough to trust it with my life. I wouldn't. But at the very last minute, an engineer buddy of mine came over and pointed out just how unstable it would be. So I decided to scrap it and start over. So I settled on going back with the girthier wider base of the skis. Then I'll bend some sheet metal to fit to the shape of the skis and the kayak to add surface area for the adhesive. Went ahead and glued the skis on first to test how I could carve, and it felt pretty stable, so this way I'm less likely to catch my edge going downhill and end up barrel rolling towards a rock. The little bit of chitty chitty bang bang, bing bong wing wang, I was able to form the sheet metal to the skis in the bottom of the kayak. But I still needed to make sure I had at least a decent amount of control to avoid rocks, drop-offs, or trees. And second, I need to make sure I have a surefire way that I can bail, either break or jump out of this kayak. Both of those things are critical to make sure this doesn't end in disaster. And of course, the build could totally fail. So as JB instructed, I had to rough it up just a bit for the maximum stick. Then, like a fat kid making a PB&J, I made sure to slather it on there thick. More glue equals better stick, right? If you say so. And while that sets, I can work on making my new control and braking mechanism. So I bought these handles to help with my intensely constipated power dumps following the surgery. But when I couldn't find any mounting points for them, I realized I could use them on the kayak as a fulcrum for my braking and steering system. Normally, I'd advise people against shoving their pole into the snow, but if it's gonna save your life, it might just be worth it. Well, look what we have here. These aren't just brakes.
Nothing.
Do you want me to turn the light back on?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the Blue Man Group didn't accept my audition tape. But just like that, the new kayak design is all done. So the skis are now on the bottom, and we got a braking and steering mechanism to help control speed and carve through the snow. But the greatest challenge remains, and that's hauling this bad boy up the mountain. So I started training. And anytime death is a very possible outcome, you don't want to fall short in your preparation. So I had to choose a 14er that was low angle enough that speed would be manageable, and one that it was physically possible for me to pull this up in one day. So I decided to take a stab at Quandary Peak. But don't get me wrong, this would still be quite a feat. This hike is a little over 3 miles and 3,300 plus feet of elevation gain. Proper Type 2 fun. And by Type 2, I don't mean sniffing around for dog shit in your backyard with makeshift chopsticks. I mean the type of fun where you're miserable for 95% of the adventure, but at the end, you had an epic day and it all felt worth it. So me and my buddy headed up to Quandary, only to be immediately God damn it. Disappointed. There's so much drag. There was, I think, like 4 inches of fresh snow yesterday. I don't think there's any chance this is making it up. Man, I was furious. I couldn't believe it. This was the second time I tried to get out on this adventure, and I got turned back again. I think it'll have to be another day or somewhere else. This is Mayflower Gulch, aka my backup plan. I know, I failed to even get a real attempt on a 14er, but I'm not just gonna sit around and wait. I gotta get out there and test this damn thing, even if the parking lot is crowded. But this location is gonna have perfect, wide open, lower angle runs that I can test this thing out properly on. But I just gotta get it up there first. How long have we gone?
0.36.
Yeah, well, we're moving. It's been pretty good. The packed snow works well. I'll be honest with you, I drastically underestimated just how hard this was gonna be. And on top of that, I genuinely almost bailed this time too when I saw just how many cars were in the parking lot. And it may not make any sense given that I'm trying to be a YouTuber and all, but I was embarrassed by it all. I didn't want that kind of attention in person, but you know what? Everybody I came across was super positive and wanted to see it work, so all I can do is say thank you for the kind words and the much needed rest. But I learned a lot in this journey, and while I still aim to do a 14er, it's going to be way harder than I thought. I've underestimated how hard this is going to be. So I'm calling in the backup. We got 5 hours. So if we can't make it up and back in 5 hours, that'd be pretty bad. I also forgot my headlamp. Did you bring a headlamp?
No. You're always a headlamp guy.
It feels like taking a training weight off. Mind over kayak and hill. This one was just over 1.5 miles and maybe 500-600 feet of elevation gain. And I couldn't even handle this on my own. I needed to call in the backup. So what I really learned is there's no shot I'm gonna be able to achieve something like this without a lot of support. And once we made it out of the tree line, it was nothing but beautiful white powder as far as the eye could see. And now I could pick my line. Well, not like cocaine thing, but you know, ski line. I think we're gonna head for those tracks. Right up there. Like I said before, we picked a place where there is virtually no avalanche risk on the lines we were taking. But there were some that headed towards some trees or some ravines, and naturally I chose to avoid that. I want to take that trail on the left, but I just gotta make triple sure I just don't drop in like, what, 15 feet, 20 feet down into that thing. Of course, the last push was the most difficult, where the mountain is the steepest, the air is the thinnest, and the mountains were silent. It was just us, the snowy peaks, and this one random guy with his 2 dogs. Kind of my worst nightmare to just have a stranger watching this first attempt, but we'll see if I can even get this thing moving. I docked it in the powder next to the hard-packed path, and it immediately sunk down deep. Oh yeah, that is so deep. It's not speed I have to worry about, I guess. I've done my fair share of paddling down in Florida, but nothing compares to this shit. But the pressure was on. Not only did the Skiyak short go viral, getting over 1 million views for the first time of anything I made, but I had a live audience sitting here watching me just suffer through the snow. It's more work than it looks like. Sweating bullets.
Yeah, there you go. Keep going. Go, go, go. Go, 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 go. You're floating. You're floating. There we go.
That was a lot of work for like 50 feet. Oh my god.
Nice shot, man.
Didn't quite go how I expected, but
No, but it's cool. It's cool to be out here doing that.
yeah. Oh.
Have a good day.
Oh, yeah, you too. Have a good one. There's no chance I was spending all that time building this thing and hiking all the way up there just for one failed attempt. Hell no. I gotta get back out there. Get back on the Skiyak. See this thing fly. Oh, it's turning. Well, I didn't do my brakes. I could feel it as I was leaning and turning in that snow. The edges were actually digging into the powder. Though it wasn't some adrenaline-filled 50-mile-an-hour run, it was proof. It was a nugget of hope, just like that short going viral, that I can do this thing. It's possible. Riding this thing feels kind of like an unhinged version of one of those alpine sleds if you've ever been on one. Or as some have pointed out, basically just a regular sled in the snow, essentially, is what it is. But it's a kayak, it's cool. Let's go. Oh, that was awesome. That was so much fun. Yeah, I had way more control. Way more control. I mean, obviously I was in a path, but the second I was in powder, I actually leaned with it, I could carve, which was sick. So here I am, happy as could be, riding this Skiyak cowboy style down the rest of the slope. But yeah, it didn't go as planned. And what I try to do is take away the positives from this experience. One, it proved to me that I can make something that 1 million people would be interested in watching. That's crazy to me. Second, gotta stop being embarrassed by this kind of stuff, but instead be completely appreciative that I get to have these kinds of experiences. Because everybody who saw this Skiyak just thought that thing looks awesome, and I hope it works. Plus, my goal of doing a 14er with this thing hasn't gone anywhere. I know it's possible, and now I know more than ever what it's gonna take. So I have a Skiyak that works, and now when I can get the team and the right conditions, I'm gonna make that dream come true. Because I won't be able to do that alone, and I also won't be able to build this channel alone. So if you made it this far, you obviously must have enjoyed the video at least a little bit. And with that, I hope you'll subscribe, share with your friends, and stick around for the next one, because I'm definitely gonna keep making whatever dumbass ideas come into my head. No matter how unreasonable or unsafe they might be, or no matter how badly I might come up short. Just like this whole Skiyak thing, it's the ride that counts. And this ride's come to an end. Thanks for watching.